Agenda of the session, demonstration on AngularJS. In this session, we'll be understanding what exactly AngularJS, how AngularJS is different from other frameworks, okay, and also we'll be understanding where exactly AngularJS is coming from, how to download AngularJS file, and also how to use AngularJS CDN. Okay, we'll be also discussing a simple example using binding expressions. Okay, and most of the people will have a doubt that jQuery is there. Why do we need AngularJS? We'll also see a small difference between the AngularJS and jQuery. Along with this, we'll be also discussing the content plan, what we are going to be delivering in this AngularJS sessions. First of all, let's understand what exactly AngularJS is. See, AngularJS is one of the JavaScript framework. It's a JavaScript framework which is used for web application development completely at client side. If you want to develop a web application at client side, this is possible with the help of the AngularJS. We'll understand why do we need web application development at client side. Generally, web application is nothing but an application which is available in the hosted in the web server. Okay, what do you mean by web server? Web server can be anything like what will be called JBoss, Tomcat, okay, or IIS, okay, like LAMP, WAMP, etc. All these are the different web servers. Different web servers what we have. Right. Now, any application hosted in the web server, that kind of applications are called as a web applications. Generally, web applications are mainly used for client server technology. So clients will be operated the application from their client computers. Now, how to develop these web applications? So web applications are developed using a frameworks called as a server-side scripts. Server-side scripts. So server-side scripts are used for developing the web applications. What are the available web server-side scriptings? Java people uses JSP. Java people uses JSP as a client server-side scripting, and .NET people will uses ASP.NET. PHP people will use PHP. So these are the web application development for server-side. Right. If you have a web application, it will be generally developed using the JSP, ASP, PHP, etc. Such kind of things. Now, who is going to be operating our application? Clients. Who is a client? Client is nothing but a person who is operating the application using a browser. Now, my question is, when we have a web application, and web application, if it is famous, what will happen? You'll have a lot of clients will interact with the server. When many clients are interacted with the server, server-side burden will be increased. In order to reduce the server-side burden, what we have a facility is, we have a facility called as a client-side script. So what do you mean by client-side script? Client-side script is used to perform programming in the client computer. We have something called as a VB script, right? We have something called as a JavaScript, etc. So these are the client-side scripts. Why client-side scripts? Client-side scripts are mainly designed used to perform the client-side validations and client-side automation. This is what exactly we used to do. Now, when people understood the importance of the client-side scripting, people started thinking, why can't we develop a web application at the client side? So can we develop a web application at client side? Yes. In order to develop a web application at client side, JavaScript provided a framework called as a AngularJS. Now what is AngularJS? AngularJS is a JavaScript framework, okay, which is available in the client side to develop a web application. So you may ask a question, when we have ASP, JSP, PHP, why do we need AngularJS? It is completely at the client side. Whenever it is necessary, then it will interact with the server. Otherwise, not required to interact. This is the main advantage related to AngularJS. Now here, what is AngularJS? AngularJS is one of the JavaScript framework which is used to develop web applications at the client side. Right? And it is a open source JavaScript framework. Okay, what do you mean by open source? You can directly see the content. Okay, not only that, you can add some functionality to the existing content. That is what exactly called as a open source. And what kind of applications can be developed in the AngularJS? AngularJS are used to develop dynamic and interactive web applications, okay, at client side in simplified and declarative way. Now, what is the main purpose of AngularJS? The main purpose of AngularJS is used to develop SPA. SPA stands for single page application. I repeat, AngularJS is mainly used to develop SPA. SPA in the sense single page application. Entire application will be maintained in the single page itself, one page itself. Okay, with the help of the routing. Okay, you can what will be called redirect to or navigate to different pages in the same page. This is what exactly the purpose of target of the Angular page. Okay, what is the target of Angular? Angular web application development target is SPA. SPA stands for single page application. And next one, what kind of architectures does AngularJS provide? It's a very beautiful concept here. No other frameworks are going to be providing. AngularJS is loosely coupled architecture. What do you mean by loosely coupled architecture? It is not a depend upon a particular architecture. So AngularJS allows to develop any kind of architectures which is MV pattern, MV star pattern. That indicates you can develop an application with an architecture called as a MVC, MVVM and MVP. I repeat, using AngularJS, you can use MVC, Model View Controller, Model View View Model, Model View Presentation. But in our program, we are going to be discussing MVC, Model View Controller pattern. Right. So AngularJS suitable for developing the MV star applications like MVC, MVVM and MVP. This is what exactly called say AngularJS. Now, who created the AngularJS? See, AngularJS is created and maintained by the Google, but the people are Misko Havry and Adams Abons. These two are the main people who invented the AngularJS in 2009. Okay, and the application is completely, AngularJS framework is completely maintained by the Google only. Initially, it was named as a GetAngular. Later, it was changed to AngularJS. Right, AngularJS. Now, it is completely maintained by the Google. In case if you want to go for AngularJS, the AngularJS source, the AngularJS documents, videos, some case studies, everything is available directly in this URL. That is angularjs.org. Let's flip to the browser. Okay, open any browser. Right, and flip to AngularJS. So you will directly land on the AngularJS website. So AngularJS website. Okay, this website contains the AngularJS source, okay, contains the AngularJS documents, AngularJS case studies, notes, AngularJS videos, everything. You can see everything here. See, AngularJS free videos are there, AngularJS free course is there, AngularJS tutorials are available, case studies are available, C template, project templates, okay. Let's say if you want to download AngularJS, here AngularJS source is available. When you click on this button, you will be able to see AngularJS complete download related things. Okay, see, AngularJS source is nothing but of a JavaScript, what it be called code. You want to see this? This is a CDN which is available. Just copy the URL. Okay, just put it in some URL. What's going to be happening? You can see the AngularJS code. So this is a AngularJS open source code. This is a AngularJS open source code. Right. Now here the thing is, you can use this CDN for using the AngularJS, or else you can download this. See, AngularJS different modules are available. A module is nothing but a source. Okay, different sources are available. You want to see the list of the AngularJS sources? You can see an option called say browse additional modules. Each and every module is available. Okay, like animation modules are available. Okay, like something called as cookies modules are available. CSS styles are available. Like what we call route things are available. Okay, something called animations are available. You can see all the things. Right. Now my question is, we want to go for the core module. Core in the sense basic. Now I can directly simply click here. Okay. When you click on the download button, AngularJS core module will be downloaded. Right. AngularJS core module will be downloaded. The name of the file will be angular.min.js, which will be, let's click on if you enter into your downloads folder, you can see this AngularJS. This is the file. So in order to work with Angular, you need to have the source of this file. Right. Let me flip to the Angular. What else we have? Now here, download. You can use this download button so that the file will be downloaded, or else you can use the Angular CDN. Next one. See here, you want to know AngularJS case studies. What are the case studies? Case studies are nothing but the people, the applications which are going to be using our Angular. It is separately maintained in a website, and the name of the site was made with Angular. Okay, it is made with Angular site which contains the case studies. You can simply see the list of the case studies. Okay, so these are the websites which are going to be using Angular. If you are able to see education, Google for education using Angular, Google for education products, okay, like American Museum of Natural History. Like you can see all these things like Amaret sites, JetBlue, all these people are using Angular in their web application, I mean websites. You can see a lot of sites you are experienced, like media, like the Cube was using, the Oscars are using, Fulfill is using, Wire.com. Okay, you can see this. Amazon is using, Britannica.com is using. You can see all these people, all these websites are developed and maintained using Angular. GroupMe.com. Okay, you can say GoPro is using. Okay, like what will be called Ford is using. Okay, so you can say XPrize. Like most of the websites are very clear. Like Paytm is using, PayPal checkouts are using, even PayPal checkouts are also using the Angular. Right. So AngularJS is completely view models. Okay. Now what's going to be happening? It's here we have a facility to develop the application in architectural pattern like MV star patterns, views and models. Okay. So views are nothing but you can simply say that HTML pages. Views are HTML pages which will be embedded in your browser. Right. Now what we will be doing is we'll be creating the models. Models are nothing but the state of the data. State of the data. Okay. And implementation will be happening using the controllers. Generally, how to write a controllers in AngularJS? Controllers will be something called as a JavaScript classes. You're going to be using the JavaScript code. So using JavaScript code will implement the controllers and will create a model. And models generally what we'll be doing is we'll be using the JSON format, JSON objects. Okay, it will be called as a POJOs, plain old JSON objects will be maintained. Right. So how an AngularJS typical application will be there is your model. Okay, your view will communicate with the model. Your model will communicate to the controllers. Internally, controllers will communicate to our own custom services like business logics. That customer services will use the Angular services and they'll communicate to the servers. Servers are nothing but web applications. So your you can communicate to your web application or you can communicate with the web service. So that service will communicate to the database. So what's going to be happening in whenever it is required, then only you are communicating to the server. Rest of the times will be in the client side. This is what exactly the information, things related to. Right. Then coming to the AngularJS advantages. What are the advantages of AngularJS? We have a lot of advantages. Some of them are mentioned over here. First of all, AngularJS is used to develop web applications at client server. So it is nothing but a web application development at client server. AngularJS main advantage is web application development at client server. And what other facilities we have? We have facilities like data bindings are available. Beautiful concept, data binding. What do you mean by data binding? Any changes made in one area, you can see the changes in other area at the moment itself. In that case, we have a facility called as a one-way data binding, one-time data binding, two-way data binding. Like different data bindings are available. Okay, it's a ready-made built-in facility with the help of a dependency injection. Okay, these kind of facilities not available with what will be called JQuery kind of things. Right. And AngularJS is available with full testing environment. Okay, you can easily test the application. See, AngularJS is you can easily handle using the Google Chrome. Google Chrome, right? And here the thing you need to remember, our models will be nothing but a POJOs. AngularJS uses POJOs for the data. What do you mean by POJO? POJO stands for plain old JavaScript objects. Okay, or JSON objects. What are we? Our models will be the POJO. Right. If you are a .NET programmer, your models will be the POCO classes. POCO. Here will be the POJO. And full UI support is there. So we can use a HTML, we can use a HTML5, anything, everything is possible. Right. And AngularJS main target is used to develop the single page applications. What do you mean by single page application? Multiple pages will be there. The multiple pages you can embed them in the single page. This is the main thing related to Angular. Even our target will be the Spark. Now, how to communicate from one page to another page? We have a ready-made module called as a route module. Okay, built-in route module is available for routing. So what do you mean by routing? Route is nothing but a simplified URL, simplified and a meaningful URL. So if you want to have a simplified and a meaningful URL, okay, that is possible with the help of the route module. So we have a ready-made route modules are available. Using route modules, we can create a simplified and a meaningful URLs. Right, and we have a built-in animation module. Animations module is available for animations. Okay, as part of our program, we are not going to be covering animations, but AngularJS is also having very good support of the what will be called animations. Right, and here, in order to communicate with Angular at the view, we have a lot of ready-made directives are available. AngularJS provided very good number of Angular directives and start with ng dash, ang shortcut. Okay, so ng dash is a ready-made directives are available. Okay, we can use all the ready-made directives by importing their respective modules or code module. Okay, and we have a facility to create our own directives. This is a beautiful concept what we have. Custom directives are nothing but a web forms user controls. When you want to generate your own control, that can be done with the help of this custom directives. I repeat, AngularJS is having a lot of ready-made directives, and AngularJS allows to create our own directives. It's a beautiful concept whatever we have. And next one, filters. So filters are used to filter the data. Let's say if you have a POJO stands for plain old JavaScript objects. When we have good amount of records, how to filter them? In case if you want to filter them, we have what will be called ready-made filters. Okay, AngularJS provided ready-made filters, and not only that, AngularJS allows to create our own filters called as a custom filters. This is a beautiful concept what we have. Right? We can create our own filters. In our program, we are going to be consuming the existing filters and we are going to be creating our own filters. Right. Then in order to communicate with the requirement, we have a good number of ready-made services. AngularJS also provided the concept called as services. Okay. We can consume existing services, like you can use, we have a ready-made services in the Angular framework, like $HTTP service, $log service anchor, $anchor spool, $route module, $log. Many services are there. So all services will be prefixed to dollar symbol. Okay, so you can use all the existing services. Okay, and not only that, we can create our own services. Like you can use a factory services, you can use factory services, providers, etc. This is what exactly Angular is. Now, what about Angular? Is an AngularJS is a software? No, AngularJS is not a software. Then what exactly it is? AngularJS is a JavaScript framework, and it is an open source script file. Okay, where we can open and see the code, and not only see, we can add some content to the existing code. This is what exactly called as a AngularJS. So AngularJS is a software? No, it's not a software. Is it a package? No. Then what it is? It is an open script JavaScript code. We're going to be writing our own modules also. Okay. How to import Angular script? In order to import the Angular script, what we will be doing is, you can get the Angular source directly from the angularjs.org website, right? Or you can download, or you can use a CDN. CDN stands for Content Development Network, right? You can do it. This is what exactly possible. Now, most of the people has a very commonly asked question when you go for interviews also. Okay, so AngularJS and jQuery are same. A commonly asked question. No, it's not at all same. AngularJS is completely different and jQuery is completely different. What exactly jQuery? See, jQuery is used to develop something. jQuery is used to handle the DOM manipulation. See, DOM is nothing but a document object model. When you work with any what will be called browser, a browser is having something called as a document object model. So the document object model can be handled using the jQuery. Like I want to search for a control, I want to search all the controls, I want to erase the controls, I want to do something like add the controls. In case if you want to have any manipulation in the DOM, that is possible with the help of the jQuery. So jQuery specially designed, or you can say it's built mainly for the DOM manipulations. jQuery is used to control, okay, handle the controls and manipulate the DOM elements. Okay, and jQuery doesn't have a facility called inbuilt DOM, data minings, etc. Right. Angular is for web application development, jQuery is for handling DOM manipulations. So AngularJS is used for data centric web applications, where it will take the support of some built-in services and communicate to the database. Okay, in case if you want to communicate. And AngularJS will develop the SPA. SPA stands for single page applications, or some people may also call it a one page application also. Right. AngularJS is having a facility called as a route programming. AngularJS is what we call contains the built-in services. There are many facilities out there. AngularJS is for completely designed web application development. AngularJS support MV star patterns, model view controllers, model view models, model view presentations and all. And jQuery, we don't have such kind of things. All right. Now, AngularJS. So how to work with AngularJS? So we have a lot of AngularJS tools out there. We're going to be using Vision Studio, okay, for AngularJS. Okay. Now let's understand. I'll have a simple example related to what will be called AngularJS example. Let me open one empty page. Okay. So let me save this one. Okay. I'll create a folder called as say Angular examples in my desktop. Let me call my file name called as say example1.html. So this is my HTML page. I created an empty HTML page. Now I have already downloaded my Angular, so it is available in my downloads. Okay, I'll go to the downloads. I can see angular.min.js. This is my Angular file. Let me copy this source. Where do you want to use? I want to use this in my what will be called this page, Angular examples. Let me paste it. So I'll have this Angular min. So it's telling that it's already relatively no issues. Now my file where it was saved. Okay, in the same place I have an Angular also. I have an Angular code also. Let's say this is my page. When you save file, save, go to the save as, you can see this. I also have the AngularJS. Let's say star.start. I also have AngularJS. So this is my AngularJS and this is my example one. Now, how to import the AngularJS? In case if you want to have AngularJS, what we need to do, very simple. Script. We need to say script. So this is a script tag. Now, I want to have Angular. So by default, Angular core is available in Angular core module that to be imported using src. The file name will be angular.min.js. So what is the meaning of this one? You are telling that attach AngularJS min code which is available in the Angular framework source. That will be attached to your file. And next one, here in the body tag, when you go for any HTML, complete the HTML, but I'm telling how to have that Angular module to be imported. In case if you want to work with Angular, Angular directives will be available, and the directives will start with an extension with the name called say ng dash. Wherever you have ng dash, it indicates Angular directive, right? First of all, I want to have Angular core module to be imported to your HTML page. I'll be writing Angular app. So what is the meaning of this one? It's a body. My body should be attached with AngularJS core module app. So AngularJS core module app is coming here, right? And now if you want to perform any manipulation, we have something called as a binding expressions. What do you mean by binding expression? Where we can process some statement to be executed. How it is? Very simple. AngularJS binding expressions are available using curly braces, double curly braces. Now if you have a double curly braces, this is a place where your Angular statement to be executed and to be processed. Let's say I'm giving simply 10 into 20. See here, if everything is fine, I'm supposed to get 10 into 20. Alright, let's save this example. Where to open this? Let me open a browser. Okay, where to open it? I can use Control O. Open it. I'll look at in the desktop. I have Angular examples. In the Angular example, I have something called say example 1. See, I'm able to see. If I'm able to see 200, that indicates the expression has been. Now, for example, there is a spelling in mistake in Angular app. Save this and run this. What's going to happen? It's failed. Even if I don't use also, it will not be available. If I have ng-app Angular, now save this and refresh, it's good. This is what exactly called as a Angular. You can use some online browsers also for handling this Angular. Let's say I have some commonly used what will be called browser for online testing this one. I can use JSFiddle. So jsfiddle.net is there, okay, where we can have what will be called UI programming can be done. This is JSFiddle. Now, where is my Angular? I have an Angular script. I have this. Now I can specify src is equal to. See, it's not coming from a physical path. It's a like online, right? So where is Angular? I'll go for the angularjs.org. In the angularjs.org, when I click on here, I can also get the CDN. CDN in the sense virtual path. I mean the path of the location. I'll copy this. Now what I'll do is I'll use this one here within the reports. Now what's going to be happening here? Now the script is attached with the Angular source, where Angular source is available in AngularJS. Script src equal to HTTP. So when I practice in my system, local computer, I need to have the source. When I practice in the online, I'll get the source from here. Now here same example body, I'll specify this one, binding expression 10 into 20. Let's say break 10 by 3. Run this example, you will be getting the output here. It's something wrong. What's wrong? We haven't imported the Angular app. In G-dash, save this, run this, you'll be able to see this. See here, 200. It's working fine. So you have a facility, Angular can be implemented in your systems, okay, with your own, there are a lot of what will be called environments. You can use Visual Studio, you can use what will be called Eclipse, you can use a lot of things. Wherever you implement HTML, the places can be used. Okay, so I'm going to be using Visual Studio for my practice files. This is what. Right. Now let's say one more example. AngularJS can be also called as a binding framework. So what do you mean by binding framework? Very simple. here your models can be created using any concept. Let's say I have input type is equal to text. What do you mean by input type equal to text? It's nothing but just a text box. It's a text box. Now what I'll be doing is I want to make this text box as a model. See, for creating a model as a text box, how simple I'm doing, you can use ng- model. Very simple. Let's say name is the name of the model. Now my model name is name. Now my question is, this will be immediately attached to my binding expression. Now if you do any changes in the text box model given as a name, the name I'm printing here. Now run this here. What's going to be happening here? Let's see, I'll open Chrome. Let me select example 1. See here how simple it is. I have this. Okay, let's say Kiran. How simple it is. It's not going to server directly. It will happen directly here. At the moment itself, you can do it. This is what exactly the power of that. So let's say binding expression example H1 binding expression example. Let's say I'm writing something. You can see this immediately it's affected. Very simple. Let's see, I want to have something called let's say this is my name. I want to give hello name, hello to be prefixed, hello. I want to have uppercase. Let's see, uppercase. So uppercase, how it's possible? Name dot to uppercase. There is a ready-made method in the JavaScript. What it is? To uppercase. So what's going to be happening here? When I write here, see, immediately you can see the changes. I want to have something called as a length. Length, right? Let's say name. So double quotes. Length is name dot. Done. Let's say something called, I'll write some Mr. like my company. So my company. So hello my company. Uppercase my company. Okay. My company name. Length is 50. This is the way how you're going to be working with the binding expression. Very easy. So you can have two different models can be given with the same name. Now what I can do is I can have the same name given here. Input type is equal to model. Same thing I'm giving. I'm giving the model can be given for more than one control. Same model can be given. Model is equal to name. Now what's going to be happening? See here, now there are two models. Save this. Example 1. Now I'll specify this. Kumar. See here, it's going to be working, right? Now here, if I change it to something, Ajay Kumar. See, this is binding. How simple it is going to be happening? It's just a matter of, at the same moment itself, you can see this. This is what exactly the sample introduction related to AngularJS. See, coming to our AngularJS content plan, what are we going to be covering in the AngularJS? Initially, we'll be having introduction. In this introduction, we'll be understanding what exactly AngularJS, why do we need AngularJS, how AngularJS is different from server-side scriptings. Okay, how server-side scriptings are, what are the different server-side scriptings are available. Okay, and also will be how to communicate to the database, the ways and all will be discussing. And also different IDEs, okay, to develop application using AngularJS. This also will be covered. Now, then we'll understand AngularJS introduction. Okay, what exactly AngularJS? Okay, AngularJS website, AngularJS framework, binding expressions, AngularJS supporting the architectures. Okay, downloading AngularJS. Okay, and we'll be also discussing in detail about the AngularJS directives. There are a lot of AngularJS directives out there. We'll be discussing the data binding expressions. Binding expressions in detail will be covered. All right, then we'll go back to the HTML concept. We'll have an idea on HTML, what exactly HTML, and using HTML, like you see, we don't have any built-in things. We're going to be using the ready, what we call HTML for your UI design. So we'll be understanding the HTML, UI designing using HTML, and also we'll be covering something called as HTML5 elements. Okay, and we'll see what importing the JavaScript files, external JavaScript files, importing the CSS files. Right. Then we'll be discussing the CSS, okay, which is essential, like what exactly CSS, what is a CSS class, how to import a CSS, okay, how to import a CSS, that will be covering. Then the core, coming to the programming, what language we are going to be using for Angular. In order to work with AngularJS, we need to know JavaScript in detail. So our JavaScript has been divided into core part and Angular, advanced part. In the core part of JavaScript, we'll be understanding what is JavaScript, working with the JavaScript statements like declaring the variables, working with control structures, okay. JavaScript built-in objects called document object, window object, string object, math object, datetime object, in detail we'll see. And coming to collections, we don't have any separate collections here. JavaScript arrays behave like a collection. So for unlimited values and limited values, we are using JavaScript collections. So JavaScript arrays, that will be having in detail one session. That is same thing we are using as a collection, like we'll be using like your array will be using like stacks, views, everything. That will be having one detailed session. Then JavaScript functions, okay, simple functions will be having parameterized functions, okay, passing unlimited parameters, function returning values. This is a core part will end here. Then coming to the advanced JavaScript, we'll be understanding function hoistings, okay, differentiate global variable from local variables, function expressions, which is very important in your every kinds of techniques, okay, function expressions, we'll be understanding callbacks, IAFs, immediate invoked function expressions, JavaScript closures, okay, function containing function definition, returning function, okay, functions inside objects, okay, closures. Now, POJOs, we'll be discussing the POJO. Then also we'll be understanding the jQuery concepts, okay. Then when we coming back to the AngularJS, we'll be discussing AngularJS in detail. See, we are going to be covering all these things in parallel. AngularJS is our target and our coding will be using the JavaScript. We'll be discussing all three different types of data bindings, like one-way data binding, AngularJS one-way data binding, two-way data binding, one-time data binding, okay. And we'll be discussing ng includes, ng views, Angular filters, sorting fields, POJOs, modules and controls will be the in data. Our thing will be MVC architecture, okay. Event handling will see MVC event handling, okay. Dollar scope, dollar root scope, what will be called objects, sparse single page applications, Angular services, okay, user defined services, built-in Angular services, user defined Angular services, custom directives, reading JSON files, reading web service, soap based services. We will be reading soap based services. We'll be reading the restful services, okay, and we'll also have a small application, right? And also responsive web application development using, we'll also be covering the responsive UI, okay, responsive UI, okay, using Bootstrap. So what we'll be doing is we'll understand Bootstrap, okay, we'll understand the grid system, Bootstrap grid system, okay, with examples. So
Yeah. Where do we use the
our
and
yeah, our program includes HTML for UI designing, CSS for
okay.
styles, JavaScript for programming syntax, and AngularJS is the framework. jQuery is for DOM manipulations, and Bootstrap for responsive UI.
Okay, okay.